So Reggie traveled all night. He lives in the Bay Area. He traveled. Is somebody calling to cut a deal, Reggie?
That's you.
Is it me?
You just called me.
Reggie, I did call you. Reggie traveled all night to be with you this morning from San Francisco. It's what he does with everything that he cares about. He goes the extra mile. My only frustration here is that we don't have enough time. Each of these conversations could last 2 or 3 hours. Don't you agree? This guy is revolutionary. He's as important as Muhammad Ali. He's done more for social justice, for advancing equity in the corporate suites in baseball than almost any player in the history of the game, other than those pioneering at the front end. We all know those names. What you don't know, we're going to get into it, and I'm not going to do my normal thing here. I don't waste any time. You already know the legacy and the history of him. I want him to tell you some of the things that you would never know, that are not public information, to get underneath the hood of what a real leader looks like. The backstory around that historic day when you became, in the minds of many people, Mr. October, and created history in baseball. What happened when you went out after that in the city. Some of the conversations you've had over time where you've tried to advocate for others and yourself. I would encourage you all to go watch his documentary. It's on Netflix. It's fantastic. I've watched it 2 or 3 times. Will you come back and screen it for us at some point here in the city? Reggie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime is where you see, you can watch it, Amazon. And what he's done in business since baseball is probably actually where most of his wealth came from. He owns several businesses. He owns also car dealerships, a Honda dealership in North Carolina?
North Carolina, Raleigh.
Raleigh, North Carolina. What's it called?
Reggie Jackson's Airport Honda.
Reggie Jackson. See, when you own Reggie Jackson Airport Honda, you just talk with a very low voice. It's just cash flow. It's just coming in. He also owns some manufacturing interests and an incredible, meaningful to me, an incredible car collection. How many cars do you have?
I'm down to about 65 or 70, and we've sold about 65 or 70 in the last 7 or 8 years. So I was at about 140 or 50, and so as I got closer to the promised land, I figured it's time to unload some of that stuff so that my family is able to enjoy and do the things that they want to do.
But these aren't normal cars.
No, I collect rare automobiles. I had a small Ferrari collection for the past 30 years, and sold off about 70% of it. I was a small Ferrari collector with about 10 or 12, and so I sold those off. I've got 4 left, and I'll sell most of those and turn it into revenue so the family can do what they want to do, because I did what I wanted to do.
So you created generational wealth, and now you're trying to provide some transition for members of your family, is what I'm hearing you say.
For sure, yes.
Yeah. And you have a beautiful daughter who I have met. She's in Southern California.
She lives in Tennessee. We're working on getting her. Yes, you met her there. We're working on getting her back with her 2 grandsons. I think the one boy is I think he's left-handed. And so kind of hoping, yeah, he'll be able to hit. You can guarantee that.
As the only grandfather who describes his child, whether he's left-handed or not. Did you guys get that? Okay, this is just I'm a fanboy. I love Reggie. And by the way, how did Reggie and I meet? How humble he is. Do you remember how we met?
Yes, I do remember how I met you.
You want to tell him, or you want me to tell him?
Well, it's interesting because I've met a lot of people, and the stories usually are different. When I met, I'm a baseball fan, and in meeting Justin Verlander, who's been with the Astros a couple times, when I tell the story about me meeting him, I went up to him when he was with Detroit to meet him. And when he tells the story, it's when Detroit was in Yankee Stadium, and he came up to me. And so it's both guys trying to present a humble side, if you will, which neither of us have.
Right.
But when I met you because I saw you on television all the time on CNBC, and I just loved your presentation as a black man representing me. And so I just enjoyed your energy, your wittiness, the things you had to say, your content. And I made an effort to call CNBC and find out how I could get a hold of John Hope Bryant. And so I couldn't get your number, so I went on Twitter. and I don't know how to do much of that very well, but I've got people around me that helped me through it, and I messaged you. Right, am I right?
You did, and I thought it was a complete farce.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way in the world Reggie Jackson is sending me a note on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I deleted it. It was really him. I had to go back and try to figure out how do I get this back? It's Reggie Jackson. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's how we met, and ever since John I've had a chance to connect with him, and then of course again still Washington when he does appear on CNBC, and then I got a chance to spend time with him. He was going somewhere in California, and he said, "I'm coming to California." This was probably 6 or 7 months later, and I want to meet you.
Yeah.
And he came out and he met. I don't know if your wife was with you at that time, but yeah,
I don't remember if Shaysha was with me. Yeah, she was actually. Yeah, I think so. We met the next trip. We went to dinner together.
We met and connected, and I was impressed. I wanted to connect with John because I thought that, and I still do think that significant change needs to be made for not only just minorities. My focus is on people of color. I also include Latin America because my middle name is Martinez. My grandmother was Puerto Rican. I'm fluent in the language. And so I have cause for the understanding for that too. I was raised in a Jewish community when I was young. My father's best friends were Jewish. He spoke kind of half-ass Yiddish from time to time, so I've connected with people from places and communities and lifestyles that, for me, have passion.
Yep.
And those are people that have dealt with oppression.
Yep.
And so whether you're Jewish or Native American or Amerasian or whatever you are, Latinx, you have something about you that God has given you because you've been oppressed.
Yep.
And so, whether my attorneys and the people around me are from the Jewish community, and so when I do see someone like you that spreads what I think is good for America and human beings to make the world a better place so that we all collectively can improve, I'm for that. You know, I just did something with Pepsi. And the reason I did something with Pepsi, because there was a friend of mine there named Hugh Johnson, who was the CFO, he was the president, he was the CIO, he was the CMO, and then he left and went to Disney. But the connectivity that I got from him was the leader of the company is Latin American, and they're all about minorities, they're all about help me.
Underserved? What?
No, they're all about, what is it, with the DEI?
Oh, diversity and inclusion.
Diversity, inclusion, et cetera. And so I got to the point to where some of the friends that I work with at Nike and some of the friends I work with at Ralph Lauren and these names, et cetera, that are powerful, they're concerned about building relationships with people that are concerned about making the world a better place and having a focus on DEI. So that was you to me. You're the person that explains it the best, has the riddles that make sense, if you will, and the analysis of how important it is. And so I want to partner with you. I want to listen to you. I want to pull a wagon with you. I saw Andrew Young in the back, and I remember the crowd that he ran with in the 60s and the 70s, and I looked at as a young person and watched him pull the wagon through the difficult areas with the same crowd. And so I believe that you have done something where you've amassed people here that want to make a difference. And so what I want to be able to say here today is, I said to Roger Goodell, I did not know he was on board with trying to make this kind of difference that you are, because it makes the world a better place. I have a STEM foundation that teaches kids STEM education, which gives you a skilled job, which gives you a starting salary of in the mid-60s. That's well above the $35,000 poverty line.
Right.
So for me, I want to say, John, what you've put together here is each and every one of you that are extremely successful, bring someone else next year that is like kind in your thought process.
That's right.
And will continue to spread the seeds.
That's right. And thank you for that, Reg. It's really uncomfortable having this living legend say anything kind about me. I'm gonna tell you, I really didn't have a lot of business in San Francisco. I just came to see you.
I can tell.
I got on the plane, and I'm sure I created some meetings, but I'm like, it's Reggie Jackson. I'm going to see him. And I traveled all across the country and try not to drool in front of you, because it's Reggie Jackson.
I have a great story that one of my friends with the Astros and one of the partners there, we were watching a game in Atlanta during the World Series, which we lost.
This is not where I was with you.
We're in the suite.
Oh, geez.
And so John comes in the suite, and he said, Reggie, I got to get a souvenir. I got to get something, I just got to get something, and to go take back to my kids, whatever. And I said, okay. So I've had on an Astro hat. And so the guy there, that was one of Jim Cramer's buddies, is in the oil business.
Jim Cramer owns the Astros.
Yeah, and so he says, I'll buy that hat that you're wearing, Reggie, for $25,000 and give the money to your foundation. I said, no. You have to buy this hat, and it has to go to you, but you give the $25,000 to John's foundation. And so that's how that worked out.
I'm glad you told.
Did I say it right?
No, you did. But I'm glad you told that story, and not the story that my wife's embarrassed about, that I was actually rooting for the wrong team in your booth.
Well, you were. You were.
Well, you were in Atlanta, and you were at the moment you were getting beat, and so I was rooting for Atlanta. But then Atlanta got beat.
No, they beat us.
No, you guys won that day.
They won the World. Oh, yeah, that day.
Yeah.
It's 7 games, bro.
Well, okay. You're the expert in baseball, not me, bro.
I'm not bad.
So let's go back. People don't understand you. They thought you were arrogant and cocky, and they didn't realize he's alone. He's making all these changes all by himself. People saying what he cannot do. Let's roll the tape back. The time we got. You guys enjoying this? I want to do this. I want to cover.
I'll keep my answers brief.
I want to keep a lot of history in like 5 minutes, and I'm going to talk not a lot. I really want you to. So the World Series, where you did this triple. All right, did you know that was coming? Did you know that was going to happen? And after you deal with that, what happened after that happened when you went out into the city?
I struggled in the '77 playoffs, and I had my manager and I were enemies, Billy Martin.
Your manager and you were enemies?
Yes, and
wow.
He sat me in Game 5 in Kansas City for the divisional playoffs. They didn't have all the series that they have now. They just had a 5-game series. And so I sat in Game 5, which was the deciding game in Kansas City. However, I was called a pinch hit in the 8th inning and got a base hit, and drove in one of the runs that helped us win. And so I went on through the World Series, and I was benched in Game 5 as put me in an embarrassing situation.
They benched you?
Yes, yeah. And so from there we went to the World Series, and I struggled the first game, and then we went out to the West Coast, and I caught on. I got my game back in a couple of games, and then after we went back to New York, we lost the first game or so, and then we came back to New York. We had 3 games, and we won. We split in L.A. We came back to New York, and we won the 3 in a row. And in the last game, in batting practice, had batting practice, and in batting practice, we hit 5 minutes per player, 9 guys. And so I was hit last. The stadium was full of people, and I hit from 640 to 645 with the Dodgers on the field getting ready to take the field. So I had about 50 swings, and I probably hit 35 balls in the stands in right center in about a 50-foot radius. And I walked out of the batting cage, and a couple of the great sports writers of the past were there, Dick Young and Dave Anderson, and I looked at them and they said, "Boy, Jax," that was my nickname at the time, you sure put on a show. And I said, and one guy said, "Mr. October, you got it." And I said, "Well, we'll find out. I hope I didn't leave it here." And so that night, I saw 3 pitches and hit all of them in the bleachers. The last time I would say when I went to home plate, I was trying to hit a home run.
You were?
I was trying to hit one, and they were bringing in a knuckleballer, Charlie Huff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I kind of looked around and I said, wow, I've probably had 15 homers off knuckleballers in my career. I wonder why they're bringing him in. And so I saw Charlie Huff, and he was running it. And I said, "You running in to get this?" and the first pitch he threw me, man, it was like room service. And I always call it a mattress ball, and I just laid on it.
Did you know when you hit it, it was a home run?
Yes, yeah. It was really a pretty majestic, high, long, deep,
That's not me.
No, that's mine. I have to leave it on because if I leave it off, I'll lose the phone and I won't know where it is.
So, let me help you with the volume. So
just turn off.
So whenever you hit a home run, do you know when you're hitting it that it's going to be a home run?
Yeah, as soon as you click it, as soon as you make contact, it's gone.
You know it's gone.
Yes.
So the first 2 times you did not know it was a home run until you hit it.
The first 2 times, the first ball I hit, I thought I'd topped it. I thought I'd hit over it like if you hit a golf shot and it kind of curves too much that way. And I kind of ran down the first base line and I said, stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up. And bam, it stayed up. And then the next one I hit almost in the same spot, but I squared it. And it would have probably went to Connecticut. But because I knew it was hit the right height.
Right.
And then the last one was just kind of a nice,
majestic.
Right.
But it's like a science to you. Like you've really got, Alex Rodriguez was telling me a couple days ago, he's here also, that you're also helped him and mentored him. This is like a science to you, which is why you're still advising players to this day. But when you went in the clubhouse, I'm just going to do this real quickly. When the clubhouse, after you hit that incredible 3 homers a run, it seemed like something came over you, like stress just came off of you, like people have been underestimating you, messing with you, jacking you up.
You're right.
I got that right?
You're right. You're right. As a black man in the 60s and the 70s, and even still today, we constantly fight for dignity. Just give me the credit I deserve, not more than.
That's right.
But don't discount me.
Don't
discount me. Don't that like players and people there would say to me, "You're glad you're here with the Yankees, aren't you? You're glad you're here." I'd say, "Yeah, I'm glad here. Yes, I'm very glad I'm here. But your ass is way glad I'm here."
By the way, he just gave me that killer Reggie Jackson look. I just got it. I got exactly where you looked at them back then.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of...
why you want to, they would come to me, the media would come to me and ask me questions about what the manager did or this or that. And I say, hey, man, why do you want to get me in his door is open. Go ask him, not me. Don't put me in that situation.
Why do you think they kept messing with you? Why are people always poking at you? Which then, of course, you'd mouth off every now and then.
I didn't act like you were doing me a favor by having me here. I'm part of the team. I'm like your best player. I'm a pretty good player. Just give me my due. I don't want more than that.
That's right.
Like, really?
And at what point did you feel, okay, I'm now getting the respect I deserve at that moment? Wow.
It was always rough for them to give it to you, boy. They didn't want to give it to you. They didn't want to give you the credit. Even still to this day, there's somebody who's always said to me, I was on the television with David Ortiz, and good guy, and Alex and Derek, and the producers in your ear. They tell you what to say if you're not participating in the conversation. Okay? So they must have said something to Big Papi. Like, hey, Big Papi, ask Reggie, is he comfortable? Is it time for him to give up the Mr. October moniker? Yeah, okay? And so he asked me that question, and I want to say, hey, bro, easy now. You had good years, too. But you ain't me. I didn't say that. But that's what there's not going to be a Mr. October, another one. That's mine.
That's it.
Yeah, you make yours.
That's it.
So he had said to me, one of my favorite players, when I worked with the Yankees, I got to watch my favorite player every day and got paid, Derek Jeter. Got to watch Alex Rodriguez. Got to watch Mariano. When I went to the Astros, I got to watch my favorite player, Altuve. Okay. He said, isn't it time to give up the moniker Mr. October to Jose Altuve? I said, you're right. I enjoy the fact that when someone comes up and has a great October, they say Mr. October is he's having a Mr. October moment. You remember how they said that, David? I didn't say this. He's having a Mr. October moment. That's me. So every time someone does that, I'm thrilled. I get my name mentioned.
Right, right.
But it's, I could have checked him, but it's not necessary.
So, did you guys catch that? I could have checked him, but it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, not necessary.
When you got the power, you don't need to use it.
Don't need it.
So all things have not been a bed of roses. You left this big game. You're in your Rolls Royce, I believe it was. You were so about, I think it was a Rolls Royce. You go out into the city. I'm trying to do this real quick. What happens?
Well, that night, you're not quite correct. I got held up and had my car at gunpoint taken from me. That's where you're going.
That's right.
That, right?
That's right.
That was in season.
Okay.
That night, for the year, I drove a Volkswagen. Mm-hmm. And I drove down this 3rd Avenue to a place called Jim McMullen's where I always would eat. The streets were packed with people.
Yeah.
I parked my Volkswagen, it was navy blue, Yankee blue, on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And my girlfriend and I went in and ate dinner. But the thing you're talking about where I was held up at gunpoint, I had a guy, I was driving a Rolls Royce, a kid stuck a pistol to my neck right here and said, "Give me your keys." And so I pushed my girlfriend out of the car, got out of the car, and the kid looked like he was 16 or 17 years old. I tried to thwart him from doing anything. I lunged at him. He picked the gun up. He pointed the gun at me and put it down.
Wow.
I ran away. He tried to get in the car, and in the Rolls Royce, it's a touch movement.
Yeah.
And he was yanking on it and couldn't get it in gear.
Right.
And got out and ran.
Right.
Yeah.
But your life flashed in front of you.
In a moment, yes.
And you're at your zenith. I mean, you're the man.
That's true.
It can happen to anybody.
Yes, it can.
And so you're trying to fight for the rights of the underserved, whatever, and you're about to have your lights taken out, turned off.
That's true.
But that didn't stop you from fighting for those anyway.
No.
Because you realize he didn't have a job.
You have to do the right things for a community. It's what God wants you to do. It's only right, And I'm thrilled with the people I've seen here today. I think either founder or head of Shopify is here. Someone said Mike Milken is here.
Yeah, he's here.
The people that impact the world financially are super smart and super understanding of what needs to be done. I'm happy to be part of that, to share the ideas that they have in order to make the world a better place for us all, which allows us to live better lives, live longer lives, live healthier lives. The product of what happens with this kind of input and sharing. I've had several of the companies talk to me. The guy that runs Honda for the Americas is a black African. He's an African.
Yep.
And his concern is to make the world a better place. And so when I see a Honda or a Nike or a Pepsi or the company, a Spotify, that is, am I saying that right?
Shopify.
Shopify.
He gets it all the time.
Is here.
Shopify.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They got a larger market cap than Spotify. So
they do.
So
much better.
So when I see those people collectively working together, I want to be part of that, and hope that I can be more part. Next year, I'm going to bring someone else here that is like kind to wanting to make a difference.
Nice. You've already influenced the owner of the Astros to want to make a difference. He talks about it when you're not around. His wife is a big fan of yours. Talks about you when you're not around. You're making a difference, Reggie, and you don't even know it. In fact, we don't have time. We got to go, but you got to promise to come back because we got into 5% of your story. You got to come back. We want to do your documentary on a big screen and have a 2-hour conversation. Would you guys like that? Say you'll come back.
Thank you. I will come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, say thank you and hello, and we're proud of Reggie Jackson.